This video will show you how to create a histogram using your TI-89 calculator. The first thing you'll want to do is on the Apps screen, you're looking for an application called StatList Editor. If you don't have StatList Editor, ask your teacher for it. They'll be able to hook you up. So here we have a bunch of lists, and on these lists, this is where we'll want to enter data. So for example, we were talking about presidents' ages at inauguration. I'm going to take a couple of minutes and enter these data into list number 1. So in list 1, if I arrow down, then I can see I'm in list 1, entry number 1. The first one was 57. Next one was 61. And so on. Take a minute, pause the video, and continue entering these data. Now that we have all the data entered, we'll want to go to this menu called F2, Plots. So tap F2, and choice number 1 says Plot Setup. Select that option, and it looks like I need to clear out some old plots. F3 says Clear. So in plot number 1, I'm going to define plot number 1. It says F1, Define. The first option says, what type of graph would you like? What plot type? And we want a histogram. If you arrow down, the next box says X. Right? The X variable is going to be list number 1. Now there are different ways to obtain this list name. What I would recommend is there's a button right above the minus button called var link. So if you say second var link, now I've got a list of all of these, well, a list of these list names. So there's list number 1. That's where I entered in the presidential data. So you can just press enter, and it populates the box with list 1. Lastly, it says hist bucket width. Right? This is the bin width, the class width. We had talked about a bin width of 5, and so we would press enter here. Use frequency and categories, leave that as no, and so then we can just press enter, OK. You can see there's a little check mark next to plot number 1. We've got a small picture of a histogram. X says list 1, and B5 stands for the bin width is 5. If you tap zoom data, which is F5, it'll bring you to a graph. Looks like we need to adjust the window settings a little bit. So go to Diamond, F2 brings you to window settings. Right now my X minimum is 39.3. Well, I know the youngest president was 42, so I'll give myself a little bit of room there. Let's say 40. X max is 71.7. I know the oldest president was 69 years old, so I'll just say, oh, I don't know, 70 years old. Now this Y max is going to be a problem. I knew that one of the bins was 13 units tall, so let's max that out a little bit, maybe up to 15. And I'll change the Y minimum from -10 to, oh, let's say -2. I don't really have any negative space with histograms, so I don't need to see a lot of information below the x-axis. And now I'll go to Diamond F3, brings up the graph, and now we see we've got our nice histogram. If you tap the trace button, which is F3, you can see that each of the bins gives you a minimum and a maximum value, and then also the n value. In other words, the number of observations in each bin. So this tells me that there were 13 presidents who were between the ages of 50 and, well, younger than 55. So from 50 to 54. Now if you wanted to change the bin width, all you would have to do is go back to the StatList Editor, which is on your Apps screen. Oh, there it is. And then go to Plots, F2, Plot Setup, and then we would redefine plot number 1. Maybe a bin width of, oh, anything else you wanted. say 4. And now you can see the B changed to 4. If we just tap F5, we can see we've got a different looking histogram, different bin widths.